And now the news in full. The Deputy Chairman of the House Committee on Environment, Honorable Tessa Ubov, says addressing the issue of wildlife trade requires multifaceted approach, stricter enforcement, community engagement and international cooperation, which will in turn play a crucial role in combating it. Correspondent Nabuchi Nabuchi sent in this report.
Ugbo was speaking at a one-day policy dialogue with stakeholders on the Endangered Species Conservation and Protection Bill 2024 in Abuja. The Deputy Chairman, however, added that the situation has emerged with an enviable status as a global hub for wildlife trafficking in recent years, hence the need to act swiftly in reversing its negative status.
This bill strengthens the legal framework for Nigeria in combating wildlife trafficking. It models the provisions of existing guidelines and establishes more stringent penalties for offenders, thereby serving as sufficient deterrence to intending offenders. The aim is to dismantle the wildlife trafficking networks and disrupt their supply chains, which will significantly deter the trade and protect endangered species and their habitats. Furthermore, the bill also promotes inclusivity between stakeholders and the community. There is a need for adequate provisions for community engagement, public awareness campaigns, and local empowerment initiatives.
In his submission, the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Lawal, who was represented by the Deputy Director, Department of Forestry, Federal Ministry of Environment, Razak Adekola, said outdated laws and legislation remains one of the challenges confronting sustainable forest and biodiversity conservation in the country.
Strengthening of the policy, legal and institutional framework is pivotal to our national approach to tackling biodiversity loss, environmental challenges and climate change. The increasing population, coupled with transboundary crime, particularly wildlife and forest crime, has continued to mount pressure on natural resources. Although Nigeria is being dubbed as a transit point for wildlife trafficking, we are not losing sight of such crime being perpetrated domestically.
In his remarks, the country representative of United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Oliver Stolp, who called for a further review on the legislation, noted that the current legal framework is sufficient, as the penalties in the laws do not accord wildlife crimes the seriousness that it deserves.
Consequently, pending the adoption of the bill, Nigerian law enforcement authorities cannot fully activate the provisions of the UN Convention against transnational organized crime and cooperate effectively with their counterparts in countries of origin, transit, and destination. The weaknesses of the current legal framework are exemplified in the minimal sentences handed down to wildlife crime perpetrators who have been prosecuted and convicted in the past year and a half, thanks in part to the seriousness of the Nigerian Customs Service.